creeps me out.
The perfect package?
Manscaped.
Women love manscaped men. I have never done a search on YouTube for any sort of hair-related anything.
Sure you haven't. Alright, so I got my chat popped out now.
Sorry, my Skype crashed.
Oh, no. Well, I still see you.
Oh, okay.
He's just a circle.
no,
Oh, no, you crashed.
No, I see him now.
Oh, yeah, you're here.
No, okay.
Right. I'll just reintroduce your window here. I can do that. Yeah, just let me know if that happens, and I'll have to, because I won't necessarily be paying attention to that thing. So.
Looks like we're live.
Yep, absolutely.
Monty's a big red brick.
Yeah, I know. It's because I'm adding him back in.
Oh.
All right, so there we go. He should be popping back up now. We got the technical difficulties ironed out. And drag this down. All right. How are we looking? Good? Is the volume coming through and everything?
Yeah.
Perfect. All right. So, let's get this show on the road, y'all. What do you say? So,
all right.
Hey, everyone. Welcome to the horror show. I'm Cecil Laird, and I am, wow, choking right off the bat. There it goes.
Get that water. Get that water.
Yep. So we are joined by Dino from the Late Late Horror Show.
No,
he was going, well, he is in the chat.
Oh, I'm like, if anybody's not here, it's Dino.
That's funny. Yeah, you thought I screwed that up. Nope, I'm on top of the chat already.
All right.
Dino was going to be joining us. Unfortunately, the timing of it didn't quite work right, and we were also going to be joined by Cody Leach. Unfortunately, the timing didn't work out like we were hoping, and we were also possibly going to be joined by Emily's Adventures in Horrorland. Unfortunately, the timing didn't quite work out. And CP doesn't have a long enough stick to jabber with. So, so here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna go ahead and introduce my guests for today. I'm actually very excited to have these folks on to talk about this movie. Such, a big movie. Obviously, knowing that it's probably going to cross 70 million, which I don't want to brag, but I was closest to predicting over on CP's channel there. So, but first, let me welcome. Friend of the show and snarker extraordinaire CP from Willis Greedia.
Hi. Just get going.
All right. Fair enough. Everyone knows CP. But next up, I'm going to introduce someone that Monty. Have you actually? I can't remember what episode we had you on for before. Have we, or was it part of the crawl, or was I?
It was part of the crawl. I think we were going to try to hook something up, but we never really did.
Okay, well, here we go. This is our first time. So, guys, welcome Monty from, whatever you want to, I know Monty or Horror Miser Monty G. Well, so I just labeled you as Monty. I hope that's okay.
Channel name. Plug the channel name.
Yeah, the Horror Miser Monty G.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. But I've labeled you as Monty, but so everyone knows.
Everyone calls me Monty.
Exactly.
Or some people call me Miser. Actually, it's funny because Emma can't pronounce it. She calls me Miser.
Oh, really?
No.
Horror Miser Monty G. All right.
She calls me Miser.
That's fair. And then last but certainly not least, and another first timer on the channel, we've got Chauncey K. Robinson, a.k.a. the Twisted Girl Next Door. Welcome to the channel.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Oh, absolutely. And now her Skype has frozen, so let me fix that.
Oh.
This is the first time my Skype is trying to handle multiple people, so perhaps it's good that we're not overtaxing it. There you are, Chauncey. Hello.
Hey.
All right. And
you hear me now?
Yeah. Yes, ma'am. We can hear you. Fantastic. Okay, so now I'm going to shrink it down just a little bit. And guys, what we are here to do is, hopefully, if you're here watching, you have seen us by now, because we are here to talk all spoilerific about Jordan Peele's brand new movie, which, as I said, is killing it at the box office. And I don't know what everyone's expectations were for the movie going in specifically. I know what CP's were, but I'm curious. So before we get into all the spoilerific details, let's just go around the horn. But we'll start with Chauncey first. What were your expectations going into the movie, and how did that, how did your expectations end up after having watched it?
Well, when going towards it, Peele had said that he wanted to do a straight up horror picture. So that's what I was expecting, like pretty much a straight up horror picture, because Get Out was a little bit more, because that's going to be inevitable. People are going to compare it. But, that was a little bit more overtly political. And he said he wanted it to be straight up horror. So that's what I went in thinking: jump scares, there's going to be some monsters. And that's pretty much what I got. Although afterwards, I saw, there was a lot of symbolism and things. It was more subtle. I mean, I still think it's hard for him not to do the social commentary because of just, the way his mind works, which is great, which is one of the reasons why I love his stories. So there was social commentary, I found, but just not as overt as Get Out was. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it was still scary though. I enjoyed it.
Fair enough. So Monty, let's move over to you. What were your expectations going into it, and how were the results for you?
Well, I didn't think it was going to be as good as Get Out. I know he wanted to do a straight-up horror picture because everyone was trying to say Get Out wasn't horror, which it really was. It was more of a social commentary on that particular part. So I wasn't expecting anything horror-wise. I wasn't going to see a lot of gore. I don't think that's his spiel right now. I don't think he does that. And I expected the movie what it was to be. Wasn't as great as Get Out as far as I'm concerned, but I was comparing the two. I actually enjoyed the movie. I thought it was pretty good. Okay. It could have been better, though.
Okay, fair enough. And I'm excited to get into why everyone felt this way. But last but certainly not least, again, CP here. Go ahead and give everyone that maybe missed your show. I'm not sure. I'm sure everyone here watched it, but
which show? Wait, what?
Well,
what?
As far as your thoughts on us, because you had to do your predictions on your Showbiz show, right?
Oh, yeah. So review. Emily and I just posted this early this morning. So I was keeping track of the Rotten Tomato score like an idiot. It was at 100 for a while. Mm-hmm. For a while, I think up until Tuesday. And then they kept using this quote, the greatest horror movie of all time. And I was like, well, there's a big cliff to fall off. I don't know if any movie can match the hype like that. And so, of course, with a 100 score and a quote like the greatest horror movie of all time, it's destined to be a little big for its britches. Mm-hmm. But I completely echo everything that both Chauncey and Monty have been saying. I agree. Get Out is a stronger movie. It's ambitious. I feel like the third act, things kind of fall apart a little bit for us. But again, if this is what horror is going to be today, then awesome, because there's a hell of a lot more to it than just a dude running around killing people. It's exciting to, like, to get on the business end. If Hollywood sees something like this making $70 million opening weekend, perhaps they'll veer away from rinse and repeat horror and give more chances to stuff that has something to say.
I agree. I think if anything, even here's the thing, like, while I may not have absolutely fallen head over heels in love with the movie like some people have, I am a much bigger fan of what it represents for horror culture. And just in the same way that I did for Halloween, I wasn't the biggest fan of the movie, but I was a big fan of the fact that it's going to lead to more slasher resurgences.
The precedent it sets, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. And so I agree. I think this, while I don't think it's definitely not sophomore slump material for Peele, but I don't think it solidifies him as like the new Hitchcock or whatever the hell some people are going for.
Well, he's got the same parallel as M. Night. Because Unbreakable was great, but it wasn't Sixth Sense. People argue it's better. For the most part, people think Sixth Sense is better than Unbreakable, but Unbreakable's pretty damn good, especially when you consider everything else he released in the years that followed.
Yeah.
He'd have to fall off pretty heavily, and like with his village, right? Wasn't it the village? Was M Night's third one?
Was it Signs?
Oh no, it was Signs. You're right. Yeah.
Village
Signs was great. I really like Signs. I couldn't stand Village. I was so mad at the end of that movie.
Well, honestly, a lot of people are saying that about this one too. Certainly not the majority, but a lot of people were upset at the end of this. Like literally, someone that came and watched it with us, a friend of Susie's and a friend of the show, Josh, who cameoed on a cold open recently. He literally went into the bathroom so pissed because of the fact that exactly what the movie shows you the end is going to be at the very beginning. He guessed the twist, so he was really pissed that they actually did that. I mean, I don't know where you guys exactly want to start. So I think starting at the beginning kind of ties into the end anyway, so I suppose we could just start with the beginning as far as spoilers for the movie go. The movie starts off with young Lupita Nyong'o's character wandering away from her family and finding a fun house on the beach in Santa Cruz and going inside without her parents knowing and finding a doppelganger, a exact version of her.
Doppelganger.
Doppelganger. Thank you. I don't know why I couldn't say the term. Jesus.
Doppelganger.
And then her eyes go wide, and then we cut away, and we flash forward.
She gets choked.
Well, I don't know that we actually showed her get choked.
Not in the beginning.
No, not in the beginning. No.
Right.
That's revealed at the end.
Right.
So no, we just see her eyes open. So I think that might be why. Like, because ultimately I didn't really see the end coming. Like, I mean, when it happened, I was like, oh, of course. But it's just, I was just kind of letting the movie wash over me. That's what I said in the regular review. But yeah, it's, I didn't see that coming all the way through, so I didn't particularly mind the twist at the end. But yeah, I don't know. Should we just get right to the twist at the end and what we thought of that, or do you want to go through a little bit more orderly, guys? What do you think?
The beginning is the end, so you might as well.
Might as well.
Yeah.
Might as well, yeah.
So what we find out at the very end of the movie, and I'm assuming that people that are watching that don't want to be spoiled see the big spoiler discussion written on the bottom, so fair warning.
Leave now. Leave now.
Yeah, leave now. But it turns out that even though all of these doppelgangers and others, the tethered as they were, they have been, it starts off, it's just the family, then it turns out, oh, there's another family of tethered too, and then it turns out that basically everyone's got a tethered person somehow, which the logistics of that doesn't make any goddamn sense at all.
Yeah.
No. Yeah.
It makes no sense at all.
What's the purpose behind that? Like, why would the company, like, you know what, let's clone everyone and then we'll abandon the project? That'll never go wrong. Like, there's...
Yeah,
and feed the rabbits.
A simple little explanation, like just the tiniest piece of exposition, where they, like, I don't know if any of you have seen The Island, the Michael Bay film, The Island.
Yeah,
where
that one.
Where they're cloning people for like body parts.
Yeah.
So even if it was just a throwaway line, like, yeah, we have all these people for, spare parts, that's fine by me. That's all I need. Just tell me why there's all these people.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Adeline, didn't she say? The real Adeline did say, like, they cloned us to try to control people. Now I don't know what they actually thought, how they can control people with clones, but that was one of the lines. She was like, they wanted to control us by cloning us. Mm-hmm. So maybe that was the whole thing, because I was also confused about the whole thing about how when they moved, they were also connected enough to move the same way. So maybe that was the way they figured they could control people, like do something to your clone, like a voodoo doll or something. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, I don't know.
Either that or maybe in a more broad, even political sense, replace the leaders with clones that you have programmed or something, and thus control the population that way. But wouldn't you need a much smaller pool of people? Like, just the leaders? You know, like, why clone everyone if that's the case? Like, so, yeah. Go ahead, Monty.
You know what film came to mind when that plot device revealed? You know what film came to mind?
Which one?
Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
Yeah.
Only except no pod people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it did have a little bit of that vibe. Yeah, you're not wrong. So keeping on with the end that ties into the beginning. So we find out that yes, these people are all clones, and not only that, but the very big reveal at the end, after there's been a confrontation, the final confrontation between the mom and Red, and the mom has succeeded, but during the fight became pretty animalistic, and the son saw it, and so what we reveal as the family is driving away, which interestingly, Jordan Peele apparently likes to make sure that his likable characters all survive, at least in the 2 movies that he's made so far. Like, there's not really been ultimate stakes when no one really buys it. I guess
I kind of like that. I don't know.
It does make for happier endings, but I don't know. CP, you disagree?
Yeah, well, I mean, he said publicly a couple times that he's trying to subvert expectations with horror tropes, and I mean, it's not like people don't die in this movie.
No, I know, but none of the main characters or anything.
Yeah,
like
that. Technically, the actors die. Some of the actors that play the main characters die. So
you do watch them get off.
Yeah, cake and eat it too, Cecil.
True. Well, and I guess, and ultimately no, because that wasn't the mom. Like, and that's the other weird thing. Like, so was the clone aware of, or not? Was the non-clone was real? What's her name?
Red?
Adelaide? Is that
Adeline?
Adeline. Okay. Was real Adeline aware of what the clone was doing up top? Because how did she know to find the other clone and have sex with him at the exact same time, to have the kids the exact same age and all of that? Like,
oh wow, yeah.
That doesn't make any sense either. Like, how did they produce those kids except for the... Well, no, I guess that's true, because if you think about it, if they're mimicking everything they're doing up top, if they're doing that roller coaster shit, then I guess they would be bumping and grinding while the ones up top are bumping and grinding as well. Although
Red explained.
I don't know.
Well, she does explain when they're confronting them in the house. She met with Abraham, and then she had the daughter, and then she had the son. So that explanation is there, and I guess right around the middle of the end of the first act of the movie.
Yeah. Well, Red also says that it didn't matter that his clone didn't love her, because in I just want to say the real world or whatever, that they had already met.
Upstairs.
So upstairs they had already met. So in the tunnels, his clone was compelled to be with her anyway,
right? Because
I guess the upstairs leads a little bit more when it comes to sharing the soul.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, that's true. That's true. I guess that is the simplest explanation. They didn't have a choice but to copulate and have kids at the same time.
I'm willing to suspend disbelief for that stuff. That you know, the kids, the talking is where I'm like, wait a minute. If she is actually Red and vice versa, how is she able to speak? Because apparently none of them can talk down there.
Well, I'm going to the fact that she learned how to talk during childhood. While the parents are talking to the psychologist there, and she's looking and staring with that blank stare that they all have, she eventually learns how to speak.
Yeah.
I think it's a thing of nurture versus nature in that sense, like the same thing with Red going downstairs, how she became more animalistic, even though she had some years up there. And then the not Adeline, like she basically learned how to become civilized.
Yeah, that part actually was explained, CP, because they said that she was quiet for a while after she came out. Like, the parents were like, yeah, she's been quiet for so long now, and it's because she didn't know how to talk, so she learned by watching everyone.
All right, well, then flip the coin. How come downstairs...
She should have taught all the rest of them how to talk.
Right.
Yeah, that I don't understand.
Yeah.
Like, I guess.
Listen, the movie's ambitious as fuck. Like, I'll give it. Like, the fact that we're talking like this, like, it's a pleasant surprise to have something that I didn't give 4 stars, 5 stars, but it's still like it says something about a movie that you can have discussions like this. It's again. For all that Hellfest bullshit last year, it's just a pleasant surprise.
That movie was, yeah.
It's just nice to fucking talk about something.
You would have to bring up Hellfest.
It's good for horror that this has happened.
So Chauncey, specifically, let's get your thoughts on how it played out. Did you mind it as much as I did, as far as or did you see the twist coming the whole way? Like, what were your thoughts on it?
I guess because I did a spoiler-free review video that I published yesterday, where I do hint at. When I went into it, I didn't try to think about the ending or the twist, because I think I'm one of those people. I think every story's been told. It's just a different way of how you tell it. Like, there's stories that have the twist, stories that don't. It's the matter of how you get to that point, to me, that matters more. So I was paying attention to that a bit more than, she might have switched places. I'm like, well, how are they going to do this so it's like more effective or whatnot? And I think in that sense, I didn't mind it. What I minded was throughout, there was just so many questions popping into my head of, like we were saying, like the universe, how is it? Are they all just under Santa Cruz? And why are they going through this? Did they form the body of the carnival thing? I had so many questions, like, how did they get the scissors? There were so many things I didn't know, like, where did they get the jumpsuits from? How did they produce clothing? Did they go steal it from upstairs constantly?
Perfectly tailored clothing for each person.
Yeah. CP was saying, like, it was very ambitious, and so I appreciated that. But then I was like, it's one of those things where you try to start making excuses for the filmmaker. You're like, well, maybe he did this on purpose. Like, maybe he wants us to, like, and in a way, I think he did, because, this is based off of the Twilight episode Mirrored Image, and he started with that point of the doppelganger, and he wanted to expand into a whole new folklore. So, but it's also one of those things, like, sometimes I feel like I shouldn't have to read other articles and interviews and stuff to really get someone's movie. Like, shouldn't I get it from just watching it, than to have to, like, look at your interviews and stuff to find out, there's supposed to be more. There may be a sequel. Like, okay, that's fine. So I went with my roommate, and afterwards we were just, like, talking about it, and we were just like, there's just so many, and we just got more frustrated as we were talking about it, because it's like, there's so many plot holes. And even in my review video, I said plot holes ? Because I wanted to come with full humility to say, maybe I just didn't get it. Maybe some stuff just flew over my head and everyone else got it. But I'm telling you guys, I just was like, well, that didn't make sense.
Yeah, no, I have to do that a lot of times too, because, like, movies like The Witch and A Black Coat's Daughter was over my head the first time until someone explained it, and then I was like, oh, okay. So
you need a guidebook with those movies.
Yeah. So I understand that, and I feel your pain on it. But it's funny that you said that you start to try and make explanations for the filmmaker. This movie is very much like there's some movies where it becomes, and I'm going to attribute this to Stan Lee because, God rest his soul, the guy deserves a lot of credit for a lot of things, and this might be one of them. But everyone tries to get no prizes, which I don't know if you guys know what a no prize is, but oh, perfect, Monty. So in Marvel Comics, what would happen is if people that would send in letters at the back of the comics would spot a continuity error, and point it out, but then also give an explanation as to how it could actually work in continuity, then Stan Lee would award them no prize, but he would shout them out in the comics, and so you'd win a no prize for excusing something that the creators didn't catch.
Yeah, I know that was one of the interesting parts. I love the part Marvel when readers would actually spot the continuity errors, and they get the shout out, you get a no prize. I would crack up laughing about that.
Well, Jordan Peele, famously in this household, with the press tour he was doing for Get Out, he did a like director answers video where he was answering all these theories, and like it was so refreshing to hear him say, "Yeah, no, I wasn't trying for that. I wasn't trying for that." Like, you know, like he would just shoot down these theories and you know, kind of give a wink to the camera, like, yeah, you know, that's great that you think that, but you know. Oh, for Get Out, you mean? Or yeah, I'm sorry, for Get Out, not us. I was gonna say, did he do one for us too? But yeah, that video is great. I hope so. He does it. Yeah, that would be interesting. Yeah, honestly, that would be so funny if the filmmaker would just come out with his own ending explained video.
That's perfect, because that'd be the canon, right? It'd be like, well, no one can say it was anything else. Yeah, then they would have to worry about looking at those videos from Looper or Insider or this person or that person trying to guess what he's trying to think. Yeah, you'd lose all the hoity-toity audience though that likes to to be like, no, I like the ambiguity. Yeah, Emily and I talked about it in my review. I'm like, you know, artist intent should be like the chief above all else. Like, you know, I made you a chicken. Because you taste shrimp doesn't mean shit. I intended for you to have a chicken sandwich. Like, I don't care what the fuck you taste. I made chicken. Exactly. No, I agree with that. I think that I get so mad sometimes when I watch certain shows and people are like, well, that's just wrong. Like, they shouldn't do it that way. I was like, well, let the storyteller tell the story. Like, that's who has the idea. If they want this to be right in this universe, then it's right. Like, sorry, yeah. Certain shows, comments. Like, I tell you, the amount of people that must know Jordan Peele personally that have told me what this movie is actually about, it's crazy. You didn't know that was their cousin you were talking to. Yeah, no, I really didn't. CP, you're frozen. I gotta jump you back in real quick. The script. Yeah. See, you froze. I just gotta jump you back in. I'm trying to stay on top of it. Yeah, my Skype, but I got you. You're back. You're back, son. I hate being the guy that asked this. We're talking about intent. Go ahead. I took this. So here's my flavor of shrimp that I tasted. For as much as this movie isn't, you know, social commentary, I took the whole second level thing to be a metaphor for slavery. You did? Okay. Well, some people say that. Yeah, go ahead, sorry. I feel terrible being the person to bring it up, so maybe anybody else thoughts on that? The other black people. Yeah. Not Cecil so much. He's just doing a little bit of this, just kind of tiptoeing around, you know. No, I did not get that vibe at all. Really? Okay. No, I did not get that vibe at all. I got, and maybe just because I was watching his interviews, there was more so, I think and I wrote an article. I was actually one of the people that contributed to that Rotten Tomatoes score or whatever when I wrote an article about him talking about the duality of society. And I thought it was more so like the whole we're our worst enemy. I didn't think of it as racial. I thought it was more so society getting in its own way of progress and not taking taking for granted the things that we already have. Because that was one of the things that the doppelgangers really emphasized, was that you guys don't appreciate that you get to be out in the sun. And, you know, because we have a whole thing in, you know, our society right now with the economy, with global warming and stuff like that. And we're, you know, there's the commentary I got from the movie was we're killing ourselves. And it's just that if they're like the doppelgangers were literally the physical embodiment of killing ourselves more so. That's what I got from it. The racial tone I did get was the idea of, well, I got it from both of his movies. Just the fact that the black people don't die. I think that's a subversion of a trope. Whatever. Well, if I'm gonna get a little crazy here, I mean, if you think about it, the dude with the Jeremiah 11:11 or whatever on his forehead, technically a white man anchors the entire chain across America. I mean, was that purposeful? Maybe. I mean, because he's the first guy in the chain standing on that beach. I guess what's great about it is, you know, it is just a horror movie, and it like we're kind of discussing now. It doesn't have it's not quite as straightforward as Get Out is. It doesn't have to be as black and white. No. Yeah. Yes. Right. Well, some people
Well, I mean, it kind of. I was gonna say, yeah. Yes, the movie said that the tethered were, frustrated at the fact that we weren't appreciating what, and they wanted what we had, which is to go and stand out in the sun and hold hands. Like, that's their ultimate. Like, I don't understand why that's what they chose to do. They wanted what we had. They wanted our lives, but that's not what we did. Like, and all that is because, and someone posted in the comments in our review, like, well, she was wearing that Hands Across America shirt, when she went down below, and the other one took the Thriller shirt, so they put that shirt up as like a shrine. You could see it was up, and so they were like, that was their goal. And it's like, yeah, but that still doesn't make sense. Why would that suddenly be their goal if they were angry that they didn't have our lives?
So Perp in the chat says, I saw somebody coming up with a theory that us is about class, and that actually makes sense to what you're talking about.
Yeah.
The lower class, holding up things from the upper class.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. That's true.
I also think it became biblical as a way. I mean, he's the anchor is the thing of Jeremiah 11:11, and when you look it up, the whole book of Jeremiah is this idea of even if they call out for me, I will not help them. They are condemned and whatnot. And I think one of the things is, well, they didn't have TV down there. Although they had scissors and all that other stuff, they didn't have
somewhere.
And because they didn't have TV, it's also the idea that the last person to see something on television down there was the real, Adeline character, right? So I feel like that Hands Across America, which he made a point to show in the beginning, was the last thing she saw, that people were joining together to heal the earth and blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. So I think because that was her last image, she became something of their Messiah. It's not logical, but it's also like, well, this is how we're going to save the world. Also, you gotta realize, down there, they're kind of nuts too. Like, it's not going to be logical. Like, we're going to go there, we're going to start a government. Like, these people, they're kind of, warped in a way. So to them, this is their oh, this is saving. Let's grab hands, because they've been worshiping a shirt she was wearing for 30 years.
Yeah.
Can you imagine starting a movement based on the last thing you saw on TV today?
Oh my God.
A big Kardashian movement.
And here, allow me to try and earn another no prize here. So,
many no prizes.
The question is, where did they get the suits? Where did they get the gloves? Where did they get the scissors? And I was thinking, why just gloves on the right hand? And, well, she idolized Michael Jackson, yeah. So I was like, it just occurred to me. I was
that one I figured out. That
didn't occur to me until just now. Well, speak up, guys. Jeez. No, but that actually makes sense.
Here.
And the red suits. Okay. I mean, I guess they didn't have the leather, but red suits.
That's expensive. Enough.
Well, but why scissors though? Did you figure that out?
For paper to mimic.
Okay.
Hands across. Am I wrong with my interpretation of that? Because that's what I figured. When you the paper hand.
And she did that at the end.
Paper dolls.
Paper dolls. Yeah, I think so.
Well, I read with Pill that he had said that the scissors represented duality too, like the two halves. Coming together can also cut things and destroy things and also create.
That was a huge theme in the movie too. They did kill
their duplicates with those scissors too.
That it didn't even occur to me though. Looking at the scissors, it actually looks like the first poster, the two back-to-back heads. If you look at the top of the scissors, remember the first white poster, the two back-to-back heads. Mm-hmm. Damn, that didn't even occur to me. Wow.
Motherfucker's smart, man.
Yeah, there's so much symbolism. It's great. It's just that plot with some of the things that didn't make sense. So you have to go back and forth with stuff,
See, I feel like it was the first two acts were great. It set up this great thing and just kind of unraveled a bit in the third act. Am I the only one that feels that way?
I feel like it did unravel in the third act, but I also had some issues with the comedy leading up to the third act. But go ahead, Monty. What were you going to say?
Yeah.
To me, the problem with the third act, because what I said in my review was that long-ass exposition that the real Red character does. It kind of takes away from that final confrontation, and it makes it 20 minutes too long for me. It could have been, she could have just said a little brief explanation and just have the two fight, just kick that, do a fight scene, do an actual fight scene. And you wouldn't have that long, that's the whole problem with me, the third act, was that it's just too much exposition.
I put the poster, the white poster, right next to the scissors, so the heads are the same size, and yeah, it looks exactly like it. The necks are the things underneath the the bulbs of the scissors. That's crazy, dude. Wow, that's awesome. I love that shit. Okay, so let's get into some of the issues that we had.
Wait.
Okay.
You brought up the comedy.
Yeah, well, that's what I was going to get into.
Yeah,
that was the issue I was going to dive into. I thought that he pushed it a little bit too far in this one. I thought that the family was having discussions. The fact that they were having that discussion, literally their table was a dead white girl. Like, while they were having this discussion, when it was at the time after they had killed the twins, right? And the one had toppled over and smashed on the table. After the carnage, they gathered around that, and they were like, she was like the centerpiece of their discussion. While they sat on the couch and chairs surrounding it, and they started just joking a little bit too much with literally a dead body in front of them. And then again in the car, when while the dialogue was funny, well, I killed myself and this person, and I killed more people than you, so I should get to do this. And that was just like, I'm like, no, there's too much of a clear and present danger for them to actually take time to have that tete-a-tete. Am I the only one that felt that way?
No, I thought the same thing. Not with the centerpiece of the white girl. I actually thought that was funny. I did think that them having, because it was like, well, where else are you going to gather? I mean, there's dead bodies all around. At least gather in front of the clone instead of your friends who are dead on the carpet. In certain instances, and I even said it in my video, I was like, I like the humor at times, but then there were times where I felt like a joke was kind of shoehorned in there for levity, but it didn't need it. And I felt like it kind of tapered down the stakes in a way when there's a joke happening. Like that moment when they're looking down from the ambulance, the daughter and the father, and he says something and she's looking up at him like, and I felt like this is some zany thing. Like, there are people who are trying to kill you. Like, why is, I mean, I get it. People use humor to break tension, but I felt like it was a little too much at times. And I also felt like, maybe because I did watch it in a theater with people, that it gave an excuse for the audience sometimes to start laughing at stuff that wasn't funny too, when you create that atmosphere. So there were times when people would start laughing and you're like, I'm trying to hear what they're saying, but because that joke happened just a second before, people were kind of going off and then the tinge of the whole scene is now, oh, this is a funny scene, as opposed to there are real stakes and people getting killed. So it was distracting for me at times. I felt like certain aspects were shoehorned in. In the beginning, I was fine with it. When the carnage started happening and the jokes kept coming, like that scene with the car, and she was like, no, I want to drive. I got frustrated with the daughter just having that conversation. I'm like, someone needs to drive. Why are we having this conversation, a kill count conversation right now? Like, that was weird to me.
The only problem I had with that exact exchange is the fact that one of them was outside of the car.
Yeah. Like,
it's, somebody's still in danger. Like, if she was in the car, I would probably let it go a little bit more, but it's like you said, there's immediate danger to at least one of them. But at times it was, you got to let air out of the room, because there is a lot of tension. There's a buildup, and I was a little bit more forgiving of comedy for certain reasons.
He's a professional comedian, for those of you that don't know.
Awesome.
Just so you don't have to say it yourself, CP.
Just putting on a tea for you, Cecil. But like, Emily didn't like the when she says, nobody wants the boat, and I'm like, well, that actually fits when he's trying to say whatever, when he's trying to give up the boat. And the daughter says, nobody wants the boat. That's something, like, if you think you're in danger, the rest of the family thinks the boat's a piece of shit. So of course, that's something like, our lives are at stake. Don't give up that boat that nobody wants. Like that, it's funny, but it's also something you could see happening in that moment. I don't know. That's just me.
But I just, like, I get it, and I understand letting the air out of the room, but you can't do it in such a way that it's pulling me out of the movie, because I'm like, wait, really? Someone just said that while this is going on? Like, it does pull me out of the film, and that's not effectively done humor. While it might be funny, it's not effectively done humor. I mean, there was almost a banh mi sandwich sort of feel to a part of it. Like,
see, I felt like the father was peanut butter on my penis hokey. like I felt like he was hokey like the dad from Halloween 2018. But like, you know, that was his character. He was hokey before shit started going on.
He was. I expected the humor to come from him, because when you see it in the beginning, he's laid back, he's nice, he jokes a lot. So I expect, okay, so most of the humor should come from him. From him. Yeah, I didn't like the fact that, you know, they're trying to get away. Don't forget the daughter's doppelganger is standing out in the middle of the road, and all they're doing is talk about how many people I've killed or how many doppelgangers I killed, while she's still standing on the road and the mother's still not in the car. That's not the time for jokes.
Yeah. I got nervous just watching that scene. I'm like, someone's going to jump from behind her, right? Like, that's what's going to happen during this exchange. Like, that's what has to happen. That's the only way this exchange can make sense at this point. But yeah, the thing with the father also, which I appreciated that he was the one doing a lot of the jokes and stuff, because I thought that played against type as well, because sometimes you have this, you know, these, and I think that was, I don't want to say I'm giving like an excuse for Peele again, but I feel like with him, with that particular character, you know, you have this, you know, the actor, he was in Black Panther, he played like this overbearing character in that.
Oh my God, that's right.
Yeah, he was in Baku.
Yeah, and for him to play this part as this, like, he's this huge man or whatever, like that, you know, could be seemingly intimidating. For Peele to make him more of that, like, hokey kind of dad, I thought that was great. I was like, that's great. You know, you're playing against type, another subversion of something we would normally see in a movie. So I appreciated that. But then when the jokes kept coming, I was like, you know.
It felt almost like this was the family of the comic relief from the first movie. Like, it's as if he was the dad, you know what I mean? Like, he had that same level of jokiness almost through the whole movie. But anyway, let's, I think another thing that'll lead us to some other spoilers, because there's actually quite a bit that we haven't touched on. Namely, I think a lot of the deaths and a lot of the horror interactions that lead to a lot of other questionable decisions, like why the young boy was the only one that could control his clone with the way he moved.
I didn't even know that was happening during that. It wasn't until after the movie where someone said that, because during that I was like, why are they both walking backwards? I was like, why is he slowly trying to get away? Like, you know, should he be walking to the dad? It wasn't until afterwards where someone said, oh, he's controlling. I was like, I didn't get that at all. Like, that just totally went over my head.
I was expecting the little boy to get hit by a car, but
because when in the scene that they're in the closet together, that's when they start mimicking themselves, because he would take his mask off and he'd take his sock, whatever sock back he had. So he would mimic everything he did. He was actually the true mirror image of his double.
Yeah, but I'm just saying though, why just him is
why would they want to figure out how to
the little girl doppelganger, my God, she is creepy as hell, and
I
especially
like her,
let's go through the kills, because her demise was it was unnerving to me. So the way she went out, if you guys recall, is she was on the car, and they were driving real fast, and her real self slams on the brakes and sends her flying off into the woods. And she just kind of doesn't come back out, and so Lupita goes out and tries to, you know, see if she's, you know, still out there coming for him, and she's literally been bent backwards over a branch, like folded in half, but still is like creepily like reaching and like smiling and like being so unnerving. Like, I don't know. I loved that particular character death. What did you guys think of it? Johnson, you go first. Ladies first, Monty. How dare you?
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I really, yeah, at first in the dark, I didn't notice that she was bent over in such a weird angle until she started to move. And I like literally cringed. I was like, oh my gosh, that is, and she's like still laughing as it was such a creepy scene. I was just like, why? And that's when I started to get weirded out by Lupita's character because she started doing this weird thing of reaching towards them. And I was like, what is she doing? Like it threw, and then I just put it out of my head. I was like, I don't know, maybe she like sees her daughter in this girl or something. But that's when it started to get, I was like, the way she started interacting with the clones, I was like, what is she doing necessarily? But yeah, that was creepy.
Go ahead, Monty.
Yeah, because actually, when you can actually hear her hit the branch, because I know when I was watching that scene, when she goes flies off and hits the branch, like, ooh, man, she got fucked up real bad. and to see her just like still, and she's still smiling, and she's got that creepy ass grin on her face, and she's still trying to get her with the suicide. Oh man, that was just creepy as hell.
CP.
Yeah, as somebody who's had spinal surgery,
Oh.
yeah, that was all I needed. Anybody bent backwards.
Didn't you say that's one of your? Isn't that your
Jason
worst kill in
lives
Jason? Yeah.
When the sheriff gets bent backwards.
Backwards, yeah.
Nope.
My thing is the neck. I can't stand when people get stabbed in the neck in movies. It's like
stabbed in the neck. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. the Foley work, the sound design always gets me. The or whatever. Nope.
Before I move on to the next death, I want to talk about just real quick. I want to shout out some of the people in the chat here. We got Tiffany Richards. We got Zoja. I don't know. It's XXOXIA, so I'm gonna go with Zoja. Perp Minded, Dominant Persona. Hasn't watched it yet, but
what are you doing here?
Oh yeah.
He muted the thing, but he's trolling the chat. He says if he gets too crazy, I'll boot him. But he seems not too bad.
Oh boy, another one.
I was like Emilio was here. Andrew was here. No Mercy. Leroy Buchanan is here. Sky was here. My Good Channel was here. Bloodsport and Bernie Gambano was here. So,
did you see Tiffany Richards says how the children were born is how they die? Is that accurate?
Daughter came in laughing and died laughing. Oh, I didn't even notice that.
Fire with the sun.
Oh,
yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, okay. Good call, Tiffany. Almost. It's pronounced Exosha. Oh, it was so close. I should have known that because there were two X's. Okay. Exosha. Nice. Okay, so the next... well, I guess the first kill, really, was the big bad daddy. Which, unfortunately, I was a little underwhelmed by that one.
Yeah. He just got, like, cut up, right?
Yeah.
I think and he was off screen. I was like, and I saw blood, and everyone in the theater was like, I was like, oh, something happened. I couldn't.
Well, the way it happened was kind of funny, right? Because it was the dad. It was his boat, his shitty little boat that ended up having to do the deed, but the motor cut out, and the only way that he had in order to get it to cut on again was by smashing his head into it. So I did think that was funny. So he smashes his head into it, and it turns the motor on, and I didn't know that little tiny boat would have enough suction to like pull the guy in like he was a freaking gremlin in a fan. You know what I mean? But he gets pulled down by the boat's motor and cut up enough that it kills him. I was just very surprised. I mean, I don't know. Maybe an outboard motor, even a shitty outboard motor, would do a lot more damage than I think. But I don't know. Monty, what were your thoughts on it?
It was an okay death. It was nothing real spectacular. You know, he banged his head, he gets sucked in, he gets cut up by the motorboat. Nothing real spectacular. Right. Not for me.
No jokes like that. Sorry, Dominant Persona, you're done. No, it's all right. We don't need stuff like that.
Oh boy.
Hey, Cecil, do you want to give me a wrench?
Yeah.
I noticed that a while ago. Sorry.
Thank you. Boom. You got it.
Thank you.
Alrighty. So yeah, did you have thoughts on that? Was that death over or underwhelming for you, CP?
You know, I literally forgot about it until you guys brought it up.
Really?
So yeah, underwhelming.
Okay. And then we did touch briefly on the kid walking himself backwards into fire. Well, at the time, I was like, okay, yeah, he's being smart, but logically, it didn't make sense because he wasn't mimicking him the entire time. It was only when the kid wanted it to be. So that's just a little plot holey for me. But now, before we get into Lupita's fight, because I think there's a lot to unpack there, I thought that was a fantastic scene and use of music as well.
I love that.
Wait, can I interject for a split second?
Absolutely.
Because we started at the end and I forgot to bring it up. It's my fault. One of if not the last shot is a shot of the valley or whatever, and you're seeing that they're doing the Hands Across America thing. What was all of your take as far as that last shot and what it meant?
Sorry. I'm not sure if this is specifically what you're asking, but the question I asked myself when seeing that was, okay, so is everyone dead? Like, did all of them succeed? And, like, or did only the amount that it would take to get Hands Across America succeed? And, or I don't, like, it made me ask the question, so was this a real apocalypse? Is everyone else dead? Or are there some survivors? And so it just left too many questions rather than answered any for me. How about you guys?
Yeah, it's the same for me. I'm like, wow, I wasn't expecting that many. So is everyone dead? That's the questions I was asking myself. Is everyone dead? Did they kill all the people? Did they kill all their doubles? Or did you just kill enough doubles to do the Hands Across America thing? Because obviously there's still some survivors. Because you see the people in helicopters, filming the whole thing.
That's true. The news is covering it still, so everyone can't be dead. Chauncey, what do you think?
There were still helicopters and things. So I don't think they killed everyone. I think it probably, I don't know what it represented exactly. I know the real Hands Across America was something of I don't want to say failure, but like they didn't actually do it so they could like join all hands. So there was like a big gap between each person. Like that's what it was reported on when they tried to do Hands Across America, and they didn't raise like all the money that they wanted to. So maybe it was like symbolism that these clones got together and did it or something that we failed at. It could be seen as that. It was one of those things where I think it was more so for like an effective shot more than let's see what this means. Because if that's all they wanted to do in the end, it's kind of like, I don't know.
Well, yeah, postscript to that question. Then what? All right, so they did the Hands Across America thing. Now what?
Yeah,
Exactly.
They're just gonna waste away there. Like,
all right, we did it. Oh man, this is gonna be great.
And it also goes to think about if the people in the helicopters and the government, if they're still functioning or whatnot, like, are they going to bomb these people or something like that? Because at the end of the day, they're still human, right? So it's like, and they're holding hands. So why can't like the army come in and start shooting everybody?
They absolutely
Because they're not
would.
super powered, right? No. Like they can deal with pain. They have a very high tolerance of pain, clearly we saw, but they're not like superhuman. So it's kind of like, is it really as threatening at that point, No,
I think it would be a very quick apocalypse. Like I think it would last a few days before the army would just line up and they've made themselves a shooting gallery essentially.
They're armed with scissors.
Yeah, with scissors, exactly. Like they could literally just drive down the line, or shit. Their heads are probably likely lined up pretty well, so. Just place a couple of well-placed shots and you're good for a number of bodies, I'm guessing. But it's weird. Like it's supposed to be some sort of grandiose statement of some kind, but the meaning is, I think, too lost on at least me.
Certainly me. My thing is, all right. So they did it, but now what? If the ultimate goal was just to do the Hands Across America thing, like,
yeah.
Why?
Congratulations. You could have just asked,
Yeah. Oh, you just want to hold hands?
Yeah,
go
fine. Go ahead. Like, whatever.
You don't need to murder to do that.
One or two of you may get hit in a road if that's where you're standing, but it's your call.
Sorry, I didn't mean to deviate.
No, it's fine. So what I will go back to though is the final fight, with Lupita and Red, I actually really like this because this is where he finally used the remixed version of I Got Five on It, and it was used tremendously because, as we find out, since the bad version is the original version who could do ballet, it was really interesting to see how she moved during the fight. Like, she literally danced around during the fight against, you know, I don't even know how to refer to them at this point without confusing the audience, but the non-murderous one, you know, had to fight normal, but the murderous one was like, you know, pirouetting and just moving side to side in these real deliberate motions. And I was just, as I was watching, I was like, God, Lupita not only knocked it out in the acting department, like the face-to-face acting, but now she's got this whole, and I think, I don't know if it's Emily I saw mention this the first time, or Spooky Astronauts mention it the first time, but the horror of movement is really...
That wasn't Emily.
Yeah, okay, so it must have been Spooky.
Yeah,
one of them foreign chicks that talks about horror. It was so cool the way she just maneuvered herself around the room and acted during the fight. I absolutely loved it. What did you guys think? Chauncey,
that was one of my favorite scenes. I love that, like the music playing, the way she moved. And to me, that's when the stakes came up even higher, because it was just like she's moving, the other ones getting, the fake allies getting frustrated, and she's not moving as eloquently. And then, you know, because also, if you think about it, leading up to that scene where she's giving the speech and she was like, to think if you hadn't went dancing, I would have never learned how to dance, because that goes back to them being like connected or tethered or whatever like that. So she learned how to dance through her. And that's how, in a way, if she had won, she would have beat, you know, her fake version of herself. So it was really just wonderfully shot. I thought it was like my favorite scene. I think I was like, that's the scene that's gonna, like, people are gonna be talking about afterwards, or be like, you know, that was like the scene right there.
Okay, Monty?
Yeah, I agree, yes, because I enjoyed that scene. It was pretty interesting to see someone actually fight that way. Instead of the typical fighting, you know, even with two females, I actually thought it was a different type of way to do a fight scene. You know, she's just busy, just like standing still. I mean, one of the best scenes is she's just sitting there, and, you know, we see Lupita, the fake Lupita, come up and try to spring, and she just effortlessly just moves right out the way. I thought that was a brilliant way to do that type of scene.
CP, did you like it?
Yeah, just double what everybody else said. You know, nice to see. It's nice to see set up and payoff. Again, I completely double down on everything Chauncey and Monty just said.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Now, I think another bit that we didn't really mention was, and I think I have an answer as to why this was the case, but why do you guys think that, you know, Lupita's family of doubles played with their food as opposed to the white family of doubles that just went in and just dispatched everyone like immediately? Like, why were they the ones that were, they and apparently everyone else really handily dispatched all of us upstairs people? You know what I mean? Except that Lupita's family was playing with their food, so to speak. Why do you guys feel like that was? Go ahead, Chauncey.
We needed a 2-hour movie. That's
exactly what I was just saying.
That was going to go longer than the 10 minutes that it would have probably taken if they had just taken them out, I think. But on a storyline wise, I feel like, well, you know, she does say it. Red does say they want to, like you said, like they want to savor it. Like she was saying that to her other half of, you know, they want to take their time to really do that. And I think maybe that had to do with the fact that they were switched and she was the special one, and that she felt, and she does explain it to her in their final scene. She was like, I couldn't just kill you. I needed to make a statement. She says that, like, I needed to make a statement. I guess that statement was to beat you in this sort of way. So I guess she really wanted to just build up, which was ultimately her downfall, to not just take her out. But I think it was more so that needed to be elaborate because she was the leader. She was the Messiah of the group.
That makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense, obviously. The point of what Peele put in there, I guess, that I just didn't pick up on all the way. Did you guys like how they were dispatched? Was that, like, because that is most of the horror. Well, that's not true. There was horror sprinkled throughout, but that was the most hardcore horror scene to me in the movie. Monty, what did you think of how it played out?
That's one of the problems I did have. One of the other problems I had with the picture was, yeah, they're being attacked, but at not one point I felt as though the family was in any danger. You know, I just thought that they were all going to survive. Yeah.
Oh no, I meant the white family. When the white family got attacked, because again, that was one of the more horror-filled scenes in the movie. How did you like how that played out?
Oh, that was decent because that came out of nowhere. I mean, it's like we're just sitting here. They're just, the guy's being a total asshole. She's trying to tell him to do with it. The stuck-up daughters come out, and next thing you know, stab. Like, oh shit! I enjoyed that scene. That was excellent.
Effective.
Yeah, I love that. It was because that's when the movie takes a different turn. Because up to that point, you think it's just Lupita's family that's doing it, and then they come out of nowhere. And the way it was shot, it was kind of like they go back from the house, so all you see is these bodies moving so quickly towards all the bodies that are like aligned. So it's like, what just happened? And it happened so quickly, and I think like everyone in the theater just kind of gasped. It was like just like, what was that? Who are these people now? So that was really effective.
Yeah, for like a split second, I was like, wait, did they shapeshift? And I was like, oh, no. Okay, no.
That's a whole different guy. That would have been superpowers right there.
Yeah, true.
I was like, wait a minute, I didn't think there was skulls in this picture.
CP, I unfortunately didn't get a chance to watch yours and Emily's review. Was there anything else?
I put up like 3 hours ago.
Yeah. So was there anything else that stuck out to you that you think is worth tackling in our spoiler discussion here?
Well, I think it was interesting. Well, it just kind of goes back to the symbolism that the daughters of the other family, the white family, were twins, as if to double down on the whole duality aspect.
True. That's fair.
Mm.
Good point,
I love
CP.
the way the clones moved too of the white family, especially the father. He was like an exaggerated version of himself. Like he had that grin going on, the way he moved. I was just like that. I love that. I was like, now that works right there.
Super grunty.
Yeah, but he still had that slimy kind of, rich dude kind of thing going on for him. And I was like, they still did it in that way. I thought that was really great.
And the clone of the wife too was like sinister, like because the other one was just what was their back and forth. They like someone said something shitty to the other one, and they're just like, oh, like that's how they get along, is they're shitty back and forth. And so the evil version of her was like, oof, man, just she unnerved me too. So I think another reason you got all that brutality with the white family was to give the audience an idea of just what our main family was up against, like what these clones could do and what to be worried about. The threat they're supposed to represent, anyway.
Yes.
Because I didn't like what Monty was just saying not too long ago. I didn't really ever feel like the family was in that much jeopardy. Things kept happening, like when the girl was being literally just chased down the road by the other one. I really liked that, but then she gets away so easily when someone else pops up, and that moment was very horror tropey too, when they're on either side of the car and the other one just like ducks out of the way, and like our main girl like slowly kind of creeps down to look under the car. It's like, bitch, move faster. Like she could go any number of places by the time you actually get to the ground. Like,
I thought she was going to slice her ankle. That's what I'm used to. When someone ducks under a car, that they're going to like slice the ankle, and then she wouldn't be able to run or something like that. So my mind was going to a lot of.
They only do that when they. Top. Yeah, go ahead, Monty. Sorry.
Yeah, I knew she was going to be on top of the car the minute she ducked down. I said, "Watch, she's going to duck down. She's going to do the same thing, but she's going to be on top of the car."
They only do the Achilles cut when the person doesn't know the thing is under the whatever, whether it be bed or whether it be car. If they don't know that person's there, then they can reach their hand out and go. Shh. But if the person knows there, then it's always going to be they're going to look down and they're going to be on top or coming around the side. So that part was a little way more tropey than I'm used to from Peele after 2 whopping movies.
I also, I mean, I know it's been said that we didn't feel like the family was in danger. I actually thought they were in danger
I
at
agree.
times.
Okay.
Especially the father, I thought he was going to get killed early on. Like, especially when his clone took him out and was about, I was like, oh, that's it. They're going to kill the guy, the husband off. Because there were a few times I'm like, he's going to die. I definitely felt some states. I didn't think they were going to kill the children for sure. And I thought Lupita might have died at the end if he was going to go that route. But I definitely thought the parents were in danger.
That's fair. That's totally fair. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I can see that.
And it, with the father being the comic relief, even fed into my reasoning even more. Like, oh, he's the happy idiot. Of course, he's going to get killed. So, like,
yeah.
I mean, I thought they were in danger.
How did you guys like the bunny shot? Like, it's very prominent. The whole credit scene runs over a slow, dolly shot of revealing this massive thing of bunnies. Which, by the way, it was so early in the movie that I was trying to read into symbolism. I was watching, and for the first 3 rows of rabbits, it was all white rabbits and 1 dark rabbit right in the middle of them.
In the middle, yeah.
And then it started, other ones started to pop in. I was like, okay, maybe I'm reading. Maybe I should just sit back and enjoy this movie.
That rabbit represented Peter's character,
yeah, exactly,
as the Messiah,
surrounded by white people trying to bring her down.
That ages represented the system.
Yeah, exactly. So, well, guys, we are just over an hour here, but I want to make sure we hit everything that everyone wanted to say. So, does anyone else have anything else that they want to bring up or talk about with this movie? CP, we'll start with you. I know you kind of brought up your thing.
I know. I'm good. Yeah. Go ahead. I like piggybacking up other people's stuff, so it's
fair enough. Monty, did you have anything in particular you wanted to talk about for the film?
No. I think we covered everything. I just, that opening scene of the rabbits, I said to myself, eventually we're going to find out what the hell these rabbits are supposed to represent.
Yeah, food.
I did have a question of how they were able to keep. I mean, what did they feed the rabbits necessarily to? Each other? I don't know. I know rabbits can turn carnivorous or something if they don't got anything else or something like that.
They can if they're carbonogs.
Yes, I didn't know how they. I didn't know how a lot of things kept going. I mean, I guess my overall thoughts of the film, I just feel like hopefully people can appreciate it as a really solid horror picture as opposed to, because I feel like what's going to get in the way of that is, one, everyone thinking it has to be something so much different that they hype it up to the point where if it doesn't reach that, they automatically say it wasn't good. That's my only worry about it. But I thought it was very solid. So
I think that you do ask a very valid question about what did the rabbits eat, because if the whole thing was abandoned, then yeah, even though rabbits do breed, you still have to feed them things in order to grow to be actual big rabbits that you can eat later. Go ahead. Emily
looked into rabbits and the symbolism behind them, and it's in my review. I don't shows how much I was paying attention to my wife. She talks about the symbolism behind rabbits. There's something extra, and I wouldn't put it past Peele that he used rabbits specifically for that reason, because there's the symbolism and the metaphors they're heavy in this movie. So I'm pretty sure that the rabbits are on purpose for multiple meanings.
Well, maybe the tethered Postmates agent stopped off after the Michaels when they got the clothing and stopped at the PetSmart and picked up some rabbit food along the way.
It was just, they had a lot of stuff in those tunnels. That's why I just couldn't, and I didn't understand why they would mimic exactly, if someone traveled outside of Santa Cruz, did the clone go to a different part of the tunnels? You know what I mean? Did they stay where they were, or was the tunnels literally the equivalent of upstairs? You know what I mean?
And what happens when they go swimming?
Yeah. Why was Red
just go on the floor and start?
Why was Red so close to the exit for the carnival thing? When they first Like,
yeah, isn't she out of the tunnel at that point? Like,
that's what I thought.
Yeah,
she's up the stairs, like, so. Yeah, no, that's plot hole number one. Like,
there was no real stopping it. Like, apparently, you can just come and go as you please, upstairs or downstairs.
Well, no,
like,
there was no real. It's because she wandered off from her family the way the other one wandered off from her family, and
that's some brilliant coincidence there.
Yeah,
yeah. One could argue that when they were talking in the last bit where they were saying we were special, you and me, when Red says that, like maybe she was a special kind of clone too. Like the fact that none of the others could move like that, but Red, whatever reason, was more connected to her clone and something, and I think that's why it started mixing the biblical, like they started mixing like the biblical and the science or whatever like that, because you kind of had to believe a little bit of a biblical sort of this is destined sort of thing to, I mean, maybe it's on purpose or maybe it's to cover up those plot holes, but that definitely, I think that plays into it, the whole biblical, we're both special sort of deal. Because she does actually say, she says, I think I thought about you a lot in that time when we switched or whatever, when we find out that they switched, that you could have taken me with you. And at the time before we got the switch, we thought she was saying that you saw me, your clone, you could have taken me with you to your nice family. But we find out that the clone actually was like, you could have, like, she was saying you basically switched us and we both could have went, So.
That's true.
Yeah, the 1111 guy pops everything off too. Like he was pretty close to the entrance in the beginning of the movie, and turns out he like everything starts with him in the ambulance, right? Isn't he the first? He's the first one
injury? To get. He's the first one to get attacked by and that's why the other version of him is the first one, the first anchor in the chain. Perp Minded says, "Well, the symbolism for rabbits are rebirth." Does that sound like what Emily said?
Yeah, it could be.
Okay.
And of course, she's not in the room anymore now.
Okay, so how did the clones stop mimicking and start attacking? Yeah, why would they suddenly? That's true. Even the ones that were tethered and had to mimic, why would they suddenly be able to not have to do that? Like, were they choosing to just like do all that? Like, oh, I got nothing better to do, so I'm down here anyway. I guess.
Let's act like we're on a roller coaster.
Yeah, no roller coaster is better than a roller coaster.
I mean, she did say, Red did say it took it took years. That she said it had to be perfect. We had to plan it. So maybe that also took some form of mental training. I don't know. Like to prepare her troops to be able to break off.
It's just walking from the every tethered and slapping him in the face.
Yeah, like stop mimicking upstairs or something. Yeah, it didn't make sense. I don't know. That didn't make sense either.
So I'm so disappointed now in thinking that we didn't get one "stop hitting yourself" joke in the whole movie. Come on. It would have been so perfect.
The son could have done that. Yeah. He was the one that controlled everything, but he made him walk in the fire.
It would have been something the little girl would have said to the kid, like, right, like, stop hitting yourself after they would have fought or something like that, Yeah.
Do we have the lyrics for "I Got Five" on it? Because I'm curious, because that song is so crucial to the movie.
I can pull it up right now. Yeah. I know there's something about Indo weed in it, because he actually says that. Here we go. Okay. Oh, Jesus Christ. This is a long-ass song. Holy shit, there's a book in this. Do you want just the chorus, please? Because
okay.
The lyrics are really
well, I mean,
long.
the song is such a big deal, like the whole movie. The trailer, everything about it.
Player, give me some brew and I might just chill, but I'm the type that like to light another joint like Cypress Hill. This is not the okay, I'm just going to go to the thing. I got 5 on it. Grab your 40. Let's get keyed. I got 5 on it. Messing with that endo weed. I got 5 on it. It's got me stuck and knocked on back. I got 5 on it. Partner, let's go half on a sack. Yeah, I don't know if that.
Clearly. All right, so the lyrics maybe aren't the symbolism.
It's not about drugs. Don't do drugs. It's all about drugs.
Yeah.
Resurrection.
Because they fuck so much. They were the first animal to be cloned, and they live in burrows.
First animal to be cloned,
live in
and
burrows.
They live in burrows.
Okay.
Look at you go. Thank you. MVP, not even in the stream.
Except that technically, yeah, the symbolism is there, but they don't actually live in burrows down there. They live in cages.
But for the tethered.
Yeah, no, I get it. Oh, and Chauncey, I meant to say this earlier. You mentioned that, how did they get all the way across America? I don't know if I misheard you or not, but that was what the quote at the very, very, very beginning said, was that there are tunnels all through America that were abandoned.
Oh, yeah, the title.
So, why, what do you guys think about that? Why would he say something that was clearly, there was no indication in any of the trailers that there were going to be tunnels, and he just outright says right up front that there's going to be tunnels? Does that feel spoilery to you, or did it not ruin anything in that way?
Well, I think it's one of the things where, because we didn't know anything about it from the trailer, you didn't know what the connection would be. When I saw that quote in the beginning, I was like, okay.
Me too.
Cool.
It's like, fun fact. That's great.
The same reaction I have. Like,
right?
Okay, that's nice to know.
I don't know what that has to do with anything, but and then later on, it's like, oh, okay, that's what it has to do with it. Which was so it is kind of weird. It's like, but I guess it was like put that there so none of the characters have to say it.
Yeah.
Like. Tita's Red didn't have to say it because she had to say a lot of other stuff. So, then on top of that, and did you also know there are tunnels that we all traveled through? I don't know.
Well,
exposition.
I think some might be like, well, now I know to expect tunnels, so I guess that's going to play a factor. Like, I don't know. Like, some people might get grumpy about it. I didn't, but I could see some people getting grumpy about it.
I don't like to watch movies like that where I'm trying to figure out like what the person's doing before they do it. So I guess.
Let me ask.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Cecil.
No, you're good. Go ahead.
I want to ask you guys something that Emily and I talked about. That one of my gripes was, the scope of the thing. I felt like if you were going to end with the Hands Across America thing anyway, how would you guys feel if it were an isolated incident where it was just the main characters with their doppelgangers, and then for the you forget the white family, you forget everybody else. It seems to be this isolated incident because they're in this lake house, they're kind of off on their own. But to end the movie, you find out you get the same shot of Hands Across America, and you find out that it's on a bigger scale. Would that change anything for any of you?
I think it might have felt a little bit too Twilight Zone-y if they had gone that way. I think because I see what you're saying, and so keep it a family versus family, smaller affair. Don't let them get away from the spot where they have this back and forth as quickly. Make it a little more playing with the food kind of thing, and then reveal that, and then like have them even defeat the family. And as they're like, okay, let's go back to normal, they walk through the carnival and they see all these dead bodies and they see the chain and then the big reveal. I could see the appeal of that, but at the same time, that turn halfway through the movie when we see the white family come out and slaughter the rest of the white family was a good turn for the story. It did get me. I was like, oh, I wasn't expecting. I was like, oh, it's bigger than I thought. Like, I think you're robbing yourself of that in order to achieve a different version of that much later on. Because the way he plays it out, it doesn't have that oomph that it would have if it was just the ending. But at the same time, then you couldn't play that beat in the middle that played so well with the white family. Chauncey, what do you think?
I agree. I think I would have liked the movie less had it just been about the one family and the other family, because then it would have felt like a whole game of cat and mouse type of deal. And even up to that point, before that turn happened, I was okay with the movie, but at the same time, I was like, well, how long can this go on for? Because I knew the runtime already. I knew it was like 2 hours. Like, this is going to be 2 hours of her battling her other self. I'm like, that's a lot. Like, what's going on here? So when that turn happened, I was very happy. I was like, oh, this is like, I got happier about the movie. And I felt like it was good that turn happened, because I didn't want a cat and mouse type of thing the whole time. So I liked the fact that he revealed that it was bigger than them early on.
Monty?
Yeah, because that type of premise would work on just a Twilight half-hour episode. Yeah, but for a movie, which it was. Yeah, but the fact that he expanded it, actually, there's like just like Chauncey said, it's like, are they going to do this for the last two? Because I like this movie's 2 hours long. We're only up until like around the second act, and they're going to be going back and forth. It's going to have to do something in order to make this more compelling. And the fact that he did that really was great. I thought it was great storytelling.
That's fair. I think I convinced myself that if that's where that were the way it played out, I would appreciate it more, because I just felt like the third act was, I don't know, a little holy.
But then wouldn't it have just been the original Purge with a different ending, if that was?
Yeah,
what it was?
That's fair. Mm-hmm. But yeah.
Because then it's just a straight, multiple people home invading a family, except you have a bigger twist at the end. Sure.
So, like I said, it was just me trying to convince myself that if it were this way, maybe I'd think differently of it. But I was just curious.
No. It's a completely fair and good question. CP, it generates discussion, so well done.
I mean, just to say, I would have been fine with this if he hadn't tried to explain the way he did things at the end. Like, that's certain things when he did try to. That's what my liking of the movie increased with that turn. But then when that last face off with them, and he was trying to explain that turn, that's when it was like, oh no, don't do that. Like, like you could have made it bigger. That's fine. You didn't have to try to justify certain things for it.
Yeah, because then it shows cracks. It seemed like the third act, the more they were explaining things, the more it was like, well, wait a minute. Well, what about that? Like, it just exposed things where it's just like, sure, but
it's like every time
one door and open two others.
Yeah, it's like you're trying to cover a wall with a sheet. But every time you move it over, like a little bit more opens up over here. Oh shit! Right, you gotta do that, and then a little hole opens up over here. But yeah. So I like it, guys. This was a good discussion. Do you guys, anyone in the comments, have any particular questions that we can answer before we go here? I see one. Did the clones have to kill their original person? Why couldn't they just kill anyone?
Ooh.
That's a good question.
That's a good one, yeah.
What do you guys think? What did they get a little crazy and try and kill others, or were they all focused on their specific clone?
The theme of tethering, separating yourself from your.
That's true. That was their point.
I mean, she had what are those things called? Shit, help.
Handcuffs?
Handcuffs. Yes. I swear my brain normally works. So yeah, right down to or literally having a handcuff. Yeah.
Well, but are they limited to that, or like that's the thing? It's so unclear as to what their ultimate end game is, even post Hands Across America. Like, because now, what if some of them liked killing themselves and they're like, oh, I could do this. That wasn't that hard. Like, if most people went down as quickly as the White family did, then a lot of those tethereds are going to be like, shit, this is easy. Like I'm sure there's going to be some screwed up tethereds, just like there's screwed up regular people. And so, there'll probably be some tethered serial killers and some other tethered that will actually just go and try and live regular lives. But there's no indication of which would do what or anything like that. I don't know.
I think we did see them killing other people because the white clone family started attacking them. So they were willing to kill other people, but I think their main focus was killing their other half. That's why it wasn't like, because even the clone father of the white family went after the husband, the original family. So he was going to kill him, but they fought and he won. The husband won. So they were totally down with killing other people. I just think their focus was killing their clones. And my guess, I don't know, I feel like when Red was explaining the whole thing of two bodies sharing one soul, I think this goes back to the biblical thing that the originals upstairs had more soul to them, more of the soul of them, and so therefore they weren't as jacked up as the ones down low. So maybe the idea of severing it was, if I kill you, I get a full soul back. So maybe that's what they were holding hands for, waiting for God to give them the full soul, and that is the movie, guys. I just explained
Hey!
why they did the Hands Across America.
Jordan Peele's
Waiting
sister
for
Chauncey, everyone.
Yes, I helped him write the script, and he told me they were waiting for the reinstatement of their full soul.
We didn't.
Yes.
I didn't actually write her last name down underneath it because it would have given too much away. But
I hope you get some royalties over that.
no, that's fair. But the problem is, it seemed like the dad of the White family went after the other people as soon as he saw them. So are they just triggered by anyone? I mean, we didn't see anyone left alive, really, right? Stragglers or anything in the carnival. So if they see, and the only time that they saw the line was the line had their back to them. So none of the tethered technically saw them walk up and see the line at the end. So are the tethered, though, possibly just triggered by seeing normal people? If they see a normal person, will they just go and try and kill him? Because there's no indication that that's not the case. Do you see what I'm saying? Like the only tethered outside of the main family's tethered that we saw actually see other people was the White family, and they tried to kill the other people. So it's possible that all the tethered are completely violent tendencies if they see them, if they see someone else. I don't know.
Yeah, they seem like they did kind of show restraint though, because the White mother clone, you know, she kind of just had Lupita's character tied up while she put on makeup. And it was kind of, she started playing with her, but it didn't seem like a priority to kill her either, though. Although she was still very menacing. So I don't know. I just feel like maybe they're not compelled. They can have a choice. Because they were also the daughter and the husband were also hanging out in the ambulance, just chilling, you know, for a minute until Lupita and them got back, and nobody attacked them, you know, and no one explains that. So
yeah,
I don't know, they have priorities, you know.
Well, way to shoot my theory down, Chauncey. Thanks a lot.
Glad
I had you on.
My brother, I helped write this script.
That's true. You're right.
She made chicken, you're tasting shrimp. It's not,
right?
It's not her problem.
Respect my story, man.
Fair enough. Well, I didn't see any new questions pop up, so I think we'll go ahead and call it here. We're just under an hour and a half anyway, but this was a really fun discussion, you guys. Thanks very much for taking the time to join us, and thank you to all of our viewers for joining us, and for those of you that are going to watch later once you've seen the movie, make sure you comment down below. There you can always click on the live chat to see what people had to say during this, but I'd like to know what people's thoughts are once more and more people get a chance to see this. So does anyone have any final thoughts on the film? CP, we'll start with you.
No, I just uploaded the 35-minute video.
Yep. Okay. Monty, I'm guessing you're just going to point to your video?
PS Plus. So.
Yeah, my video's not 30, it's like 15 minutes because spoiler free. So it's just, and I asked the same questions I've asked here. Like, what was that? So.
And Monty, you have your review up as well?
Yeah, my review is up. It's only 9 minutes long.
See, 3 different flavors you got.
Yeah, I think our original one was like 37 minutes. So
you jerk.
Maybe we got you, but we did a regular and a spoiler review, so we technically talked about it for like an hour and a half too. But yeah, I had a lot of fun having you guys on. Chauncey, I'm looking forward. Chauncey, you guys, if you didn't know. If all goes according to plan, she will be joining us on our Creepy Channel Crawl hour this year, and I'm working to get possibly a minor celebrity on there. I don't know if CP and Emily are still doing their thing or not, but
don't call me a celebrity. Like seriously.
Oh no, I didn't. don't worry. Don't get that twisted, son. That wasn't you I was referring to. But yeah, and Monty, thank you for joining us as well. Make sure you guys go and follow them. CP is at Williscredia. All their channels are in the description down below. Monty is, of course, the horror miser Monty G. And Chauncey K. Robinson, a.k.a. I already fucked it up. Twisted Girl Next Door. Got it. Yeah, Twisted Girl Next Door.
You got it.
I got that right before you. But yeah, thank you guys very much for watching. And CP knows, Monty, I'm sure you know because you've watched our videos for a while. But Chauncey, we always end our videos by telling everyone to stay scared. So If you wouldn't mind joining or don't, whatever, it's up to you.
Is there a countdown? I don't want to mess it up.
It's after I say remember.
Okay.
So thank you guys again for watching, and remember, stay scared.
That
Wow,
didn't seem
that
forced
sounded,
at all.
No, Jesus Christ on a crutch. Wow. All right.
All right, just to let you know, this is how we close the thing. So ready?
Well, ideally, we won't have to do the setup next time. So,
No.
all right. Thank you guys very much. And
All right, thanks, Cecil.
We